everybody, and welcome to the Belize International Yoga Festival. I'm Dianne Bondy, and I'm so grateful to share a Go with the Flow practice here with you today. I am an accessible, adaptable, and equitable yoga teacher. I believe that everybody has a place on the mat and that every posture can be created in the image of the person who is practicing. So what does that mean? That means that we are able to adapt the postures to our bodies. And I'm excited to share this class with you. This class is going to be fun and creative and interesting, a little bit of joyful, mindful movement, if you will. So what I have in front of me is two blocks. I have a strap, I have a meditation cushion. If you want to grab a bolster or anything else that you have, that would be great. If you don't have blocks, if you have big cans of beans or stewed tomatoes, that works really well as blocks, or as a water bottle, or if you have any smaller boxes, like if you've been ordering things from Amazon or you have smaller, dense cardboard boxes, they can often work well as props. So I'll be using props throughout my practice today. If you don't like to use props, you certainly don't have to. I will be giving you lots of opportunities to dial the practice up or to dial the practice down. So it's really up to you to decide how hard you want to go, how much intensity you need, how you can soften the practice, how you can really adapt the practice to your own body. So that's what we're doing today. So let's start in seated with the breath. So in yoga, there's a lot of different practices around the breath that we can do. And when we're doing a fairly active practice, people will often like to use ujjayi breath, which is a constriction of the back of the throat and an expansion in the rib cage and in the belly. And so what ends up happening is the breath as you're breathing in through that constricted back of the throat has an oceanic or I almost like to call it a Darth Vader quality. So it has a real resonance and a real power. And the purpose of that breath, it's called victorious breath, is to heat the body from the inside out. So what we're actually looking for is to build heat as we're moving through the practice. So that's a really great practice, and I'll demonstrate it for you shortly. Also, what I like to encourage my students to do is use your natural breath and just be mindful of the breath. Mindful that you're inhaling when you're making big expansive movements and you're exhaling when you're doing contracted movements and movements. And I will signal that to you. I will tell you when you want to expand your breath, inhale. When you want to contract your breath, exhale. So let's try a little bit of ujjayi breathing, and then we can go back to our natural breath and decide which breath works for us. So I like to take my gaze downward when I start to get centered through breathing. If you want to close your eyes, soften your gaze, however you want to show up in this practice, my philosophy is come as you are, use what you have, do what you can. So I'm going to just take my gaze down to the floor slightly. I'm going to sit up nice and tall. And if you're in a plus size body or an abundant body, as I like to call it, I invite you to sit up on a meditation cushion, a bolster, a blanket, or even a block with a blanket on top of it. We're going to retract the shoulder blades close to each other so that the heart is open. So drawing the lower tips of the shoulder blades onto the heart, and then either closing the eyes or taking the gaze softly to the floor or to an object in the room. Go ahead and anchor that gaze. And then as you inhale, let's try inhaling in through the nose, exhaling out through the mouth. Just a big high, just a big sigh, just a big release. Inhale, exhale. Two more, inhale. Exhale. And then I'm going to invite you to close the lips. Inhale in through the nose. But keep that ha sound as you exhale out through the nose. So that constriction in the back of the throat. Inhale. Exhale. Good. You can bring your hands to your lower ribs to feel the expansion. And exhale to feel the contraction. Getting that last bit of stale breath out of the base of the lungs. So as you inhale, your diaphragm is moving down and the lungs are expanding. And as you exhale, you're drawing back up again. So that's a really great way to breathe in your practice. If that feels good, You can also come to your natural breath, which is equal inhales to equal exhales. And let's begin our practice. Let's inhale in through the nose, shrug the shoulders up. Exhale, release the shoulders down and breathe. Inhale. Exhale. And pick your breath, however you want to breathe. Shrugging the shoulders up and relaxing them down. So drawing those shoulder blades together as you pull the shoulders away from the ears and just relaxing. And now let's roll in a little bit, tucking the chin to the chest, rolling the shoulders back and finding that. Inhaling, tucking, exhaling, open the chest. Inhale. Exhale, good. And let's add. Inhale, reach the arms high to the sky. Right hand reaches to the floor, left arm reaches up and over. And then take that left hand to the floor, reach the right arm up and over. And then inhale, bring both arms up to the sky. Left hand comes to right knee, right fingertips come behind you. And now inhale, reach up. Exhale, and twist to the opposite side. Good, inhale, reach. Exhale, twist, one more time. Inhale, reach, and exhale, twist. Beautiful. Let's come back through center and come to seated. So planting our feet on the mat, taking our hands behind us. Plant your feet on the mat. Squeeze your shoulder blades together as you lift your heart. Really root down through your feet. Really lift the chest up. And then walk the feet out slightly, bringing that right ankle over the left knee and flexing the foot. Now I'm going to turn my fingertips out just to engage my shoulder blades a little bit better and to stretch the front of my shoulders. Your hands can be pointed toward the outer edge of the mat, back towards your bottom, however it works best for you. So lifting the heart up, taking a stretch here. I'm energetically pushing my right knee away from me. Just moving and just feeling sensation where I'm feeling it. Good. Let's take a couple more breaths here. Beautiful. And now let's release. Let's release that right foot to the floor. Cross the left leg over. Let's flex the foot, lift the heart, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then pressing that left knee away from me as I lift the heart. Beautiful. Take a few more breaths here. And then releasing. Let's come to our hands and knees. So go ahead and pad your knees. I'm working with a mat that comes with an extra pad for my knees. If your knees need a little bit more love, place a blanket underneath them. You can also fold your mat. Do whatever you need to do to help you find that space where you can be connected. Take your fingertips right to the pinky edge of the mat. Take your knees out a little bit wider. And let's do a little bit of cat-cow from hands and knees position. As we inhale, we're pressing the belly down to the floor. We're lifting our chest up to the sky. We're completing a little expansion in the front of the body. And then as you exhale, tuck the chin to the chest, push the floor away, bring the center of the back up to the sky. Inhale and soften. Exhale and round. And let's do a few of these. Really pressing into the finger pads, pressing into the knuckles. So instead of doing any kind of traditional Shavasana, I will come back and cue this particular variation so that you can work through this. If anything gets too fast or if you're feeling like you need a break, this is where you're going to come, right? You're going to come back to your cat-cow. From here, let's add a little bit of spinal balance. Coming back to a flat back. Let's send the right leg back, left arm forward, reach, and release. And let's do the second side. And reach and release. And we're just going to keep going here. Spinal balance. You can go as fast or as slow as you need to. Keep going. Okay, so this is spinal balance. So when I refer to spinal balance, this is what I'm referring to. Two more. Beautiful. Coming back to your cat-cow, planting both hands on the mat and kicking a few more cat-cows. And so when I refer to cat-cow, this is what you're coming back to. You can even add a little bit more movement to cat-cow. So when you round the back, tuck the toes under, bring the bottom back toward the heels. And then tuck the chin to the chest and shift the shoulders forward, looking up. Bringing the bottom back toward the heels, tucking the chin toward the chest, and looking forward. And rocking back and forth slowly. Okay, back and forth slowly. So that's another option. Option 2 in your cat-cow. So option 1 in your cat-cow is a more traditional cat-cow. Option 2 is the movement to and from. So you get to choose. Option 3 will be your spinal balance, coming back into tabletop position, left leg back, right arm out in front. Release, right arm back, left arm out in front. So this is your spinal balance. So choose any of those whenever you need to take a break, whenever you need to slow down, whenever you need whatever you need. Coming back to tabletop position when both sides are done equally. Take your right arm up to the sky and then slide your right arm underneath your left. Bring your head toward the floor. Take a moment to breathe. Inhale and exhale. Good. Now let's inhale. Bring that right arm up to the sky. Exhale, plant your hands. Walk your hands over to the right side of your mat. Inhale, sweep the arms high to the sky. Exhale, let's twist. Right arm forward, left arm back. Beautiful. Inhale, both arms up to the sky. And let's turn our right toes out and float our arms out into T. This is taking a warrior 2 on the knee. Go ahead and take a peaceful warrior here. So right hand down the back of the right thigh, left arm up and over, and then left forearm to the thigh, right arm up and over the ear. Now take your right arm to the floor, bring your right toes behind you, take your left arm to the sky. Planting both hands onto the mat, send the left leg back behind you, right arm out in front of you for spinal balance. Planting that right hand on the mat, take the left leg out to the left, inhale, left arm up to the sky. Open up. And now exhale, both hands back to the mat. And let's take our cat-cow, softening the belly down, rounding the back, doing 3 or 4 more of these, breathing. And now rocking forward and rocking back, rocking forward and rocking back. Come back to your tabletop position. Float your left arm out to the left. Slide your left arm underneath your right. You can bring your head down to the floor or onto a block if you're feeling it. Breathe, relax, take your time, feel whatever it is you're feeling here. And then on the inhale, let's reach that left arm up to the sky, planting it down to the mat. Walk your hands over to the left side. Let's swing that right leg up to the mat. Inhale, sweep the arms high to the sky. And then exhale, bring your left arm forward, right arm back. Beautiful. Inhale, reach up. And now turn your body toward the left side. See how I kick my toes out behind me like a kickstand into warrior 2. And now I'm taking my left hand down the back of my left thigh, right arm up to the sky, peaceful warrior. And then taking that right forearm to the thigh, left arm up and over the ear, extended side angle. Releasing my left hand to the floor, taking my left toes behind me, sinking into that left knee. Inhale, right arm up to the sky. And now exhale, both hands come to the inside of that right leg and step the right leg back behind us. Left arm out in front of us. Planting the left hand onto the mat, swing the right leg out to the right. Inhale, reach the right arm up to the sky. And then exhale, plant your hands. Come back to tabletop position and take a cat-cow here. Now that's your option to do this particular sequence all on hands and knees if that feels better. But in our next opportunity, I'm going to give the opportunity to take a little bit more intensity or strength here. So keeping in your cat-cow is your first option. You can stay here, or you can whack your hands one handprint forward, lift the hips up and back, and press back into downward facing dog, pedaling your feet out here. So your first option is cat-cow. Your second option is to pedal your feet out into down dog. Whatever speaks to you. Taking a moment, maybe come up onto the toes, rock back through the heels. Now taking your feet out nice and wide if you're in down dog,
Now, if you're in tabletop, come back to static tabletop, and let's walk our hands back to our feet and make our way into a forward fold. Press down and widen into the feet, and on the inhale, reach the arms high to the sky and reach all the way up. Right hand grabs a hold of left wrist, crescent over to the right side. Inhale back through center and crescent over to the left. Inhale, reach up, sweep the arms wide, lace the fingertips together, lift the heart and look up. And on the exhale, bend the knees, let the arms gently fall forward, or let the arms rest at the waist, whatever speaks to you. And now releasing your hands back down to the floor. Walk your hands forward into downward facing dog. Lower the knees down to the mat. Start your cat-cow again, right here. And now go ahead and shift the shoulders forward toward the top of the mat. Press the tops of the feet down, lower onto your belly. Inhale, curl the shoulders back, look up. Exhale, come back through tabletop position. Now walking your hands back towards your knees, curl your toes under, lift your hips up and back, make your way back to your forward fold. Inhale, reach all the way up. Right hand grabs a hold of left wrist, crescent over to the right, back through center, crescent over to the left. Inhale, reach, exhale, sweep the arms wide, bend the knees, and fold forward. Walk the hands forward all the way to down dog or tabletop position. For tabletop, lower your knees down and then take your cat-cow. If you're gonna add more sensation, you can rock your shoulders forward, lower your chest all the way down to the mat. Now curling your shoulders back, look up. Exhale, back through tabletop position. Walk your hands back towards your feet. Lift your hips toward the sky as you fold forward. And now pushing down and wide into the feet. Inhale, slowly reach all the way up. Right hand grabs a hold of left wrist, crescent over to the right. Come back through center, crescent over to the left. Sweep the arms nice and wide. Lace the fingertips behind the low back. Inhale, lift the heart, look up. Exhale, soften the knees and fold forward. Thumbs can rest at the sacrum or arms can fall away. Inhale, sit into chair pose. Reach your arms high to the sky as you straighten out through the legs. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's bring our hands to our waist and take a giant step forward with our left foot. Coming into a lunge pose, curl the shoulder blades onto the back, lift the heart, and now sweep the arms slowly to the sky. Good. Bringing your right hand forward, left hand back. We're going to reach open, and now pivoting around. So you remember we did this on our knees earlier. Now we're doing this on our feet. Bend into the square of the knee, take your warrior pose, and now taking your right hand down the back of your right thigh, left arm up to the sky, and now left forearm to the thigh, right arm up and over the ear, very slowly bringing the right hand down to the mat, curl up onto the right toes. This is a great place to bring your block. If you need a little bit of extra length here, you can bring your hand to the block and then take that left arm up to the sky. Beautiful. And now bringing both hands down to your blocks, if you have them close by, you can pivot your toes to the long edge of your mat and adjust your feet accordingly for wide-legged forward fold. So your feet are parallel to each other. Toes are facing the long edge of your mat. Knees are soft and lift the sit bones to the sky. Go ahead and fold into yourself here. Taking a moment just to breathe. Inhaling, half lift. Exhaling and fold, soften the knees, and if you like, you can bind at opposite elbows if it feels good, or letting the crown of the head come down toward the floor, whatever works for you. And then bringing your hands to your waist, shoulder blades on your back. Inhale, lift the head and the heart upward, and let's go ahead and turn your right toes out to the back of your mat. Take a big circle with your arms, warrior two. Look out over your center middle fingernail. Bend into that right knee, and then take the left hand on the back of the left thigh, right arm up to the sky, and now right forearm to the thigh, left arm up and over the ear. Open up into our side angle pose. Bringing our right hand right down to the mat, spin up onto our left toes. So left hand down to the mat, spin up to your left toes. Inhale, right arm up to the sky. There we go. Exhale, both hands to the inside of that right foot. And now pivot back to the top of your mat. Let the crown of your head come down. Take your hands to your waist, shoulder blades on your back. Inhale, reach all the way up to the sky. And now exhale, hands through heart center. And let's step our feet together at the top of the mat. Grab your blocks if you're using your blocks and bring them to the top of your mat. Let's inhale, reach all the way up to the sky. And exhale, bend generously at the knees, fold forward. Bring your hands right down to the blocks. Inhale, lift the gaze, look forward. Exhale and fold. I'm going to turn my blocks to their medium setting. And now I'm going to step my right leg back, lower my right knee down. Inhale, sweep my arms up to the sky. And now exhale, I'm going to turn my right toes out behind me, come into a kneeling warrior two. Hips are facing the long edge of the mat, floating my arms out into T. Taking my right hand down the back of my right thigh, lifting my left arm up to the sky. And now left forearm comes to the top of the left thigh, right arm comes up and over the ear, and then gently all the way down to that right block or to the mat, turning my right toes out behind me, inhaling my left arm up to the sky. Now exhale, both hands come down to the floor. I'm going to bring both hands to the inside of my left foot and send my left leg straight back out behind me and my right arm out in front of me. Beautiful. Now the option is to stay here or bend that left knee, grab a hold of the left foot with the right hand. Now this is an option, you don't have to do it, but if you want to give it a try, see what your body can do. You might be surprised. Without slingshotting this back foot, let's extend it back out, right arm out, left leg back, plant both hands, and let's take that left leg out to the left. Inhale, reach that left arm up to the sky. And now exhale, go ahead and swing that left leg back behind you. Plant it on the floor. Outer edge of that left foot is parallel with the back of the mat. Kickstand out the right foot. And then inhale up to a side plank variation. Option to stay here. Take a breath. And then release back to tabletop position. Walking your hands back towards your knees. Lifting your bottom up toward the sky. And walking your hands back towards your feet. Let's soften our knees. Inhale, reach our arms high to the sky. Right hand grabs a hold of left wrist, crescent over toward the right. Inhale back through center, crescent over to the left. Inhale, reach high to the sky. Lace the fingertips behind the low back. Then lift the heart upwards. Thumbs can rest on the low back, or you can let the arms fall away if that feels like something you want to give a try. Soften the knees, making sure the feet are nice and far apart for the body to kind of soften in between. And then bend into the knees. Inhale, sweep the arms forward, and then all the way up to the sky. And then exhale, bring your hands through heart center, and let's walk forward toward the top of our mat. Lift and spread your toes. I'm going to situate my blocks at the top of my mat so they are handy for me. I'm going to come back to Tadasana, wide-legged forward fold. Feet out nice and wide, about 2 fist width or the width of your block. Curl your shoulder blades onto your back, turn your palm forward, and just release into your breath here. Inhaling deeply, exhaling completely. And now inhale, sweep the arms high to the sky. And on the exhale, let's bend the knees, fold forward. So we're folding generously, legs out nice and wide. Inhale, half lift. Exhale and fold. And let's take our left leg back behind us. Let's stay right up onto our left toes. Bend into that right knee or that left knee and tap it down to the mat. Let's inhale, reach our arms high to the sky. And now we're going to turn our left toes out to kickstand. Right knee is in front of us for warrior two kneeling. Then we'll take our left hand to the back of our left thigh, right arm up to the sky, and then right forearm to the thigh, left arm up and over the ear. Slowly bringing that left hand down to the mat or to your block, kicking those left toes behind us, bending into the right knee. Let's inhale, reach that right arm up to the sky. Beautiful. Exhale, bring your hands down to your mat, and let's send that right leg back behind us into a spinal balance. Left arm out in front of us. Hold here. Option to stay here, or option option to deepen the stretch if it feels like something you want to do by bringing that left hand back, grabbing a hold of the right foot. Now this might not be available to everyone, so stay in your spinal balance. That's just as good. Planting that left hand, releasing that bind, planting the left hand, right leg comes out to the right. Let's inhale, right arm up to the sky, hold here. Option to stay here, or option to bring that right hand down to your block, swing the right leg back behind you. Outer edge of that right foot is parallel to the back edge of the mat. I am kneeling on the left leg, opening up to side plank variation. So here's your variation for side plank. Keep that in mind when we come to it from standing. Exhale, both hands down to your blocks, both knees down to the mat. Take a cat-cow if it feels appropriate here, or if you are ready for just a little bit more sensation, you can flatten your blocks, lift your hips up and back, and come to your downward facing dog. Pedaling your feet out here. It's always your option to move slower or faster, do more or less. Because I have my hands on my blocks, instead of walking my hands back toward my feet, I'm going to walk my feet forward toward my hands. So slowly walking forward. Soften your knees, allow yourself to fold, and then on the inhale, reach the arms high to the sky. Right hand grabs a hold of left wrist, let's crescent over to the right. Inhale back through center, exhale, second side. Inhale, reach up, reach the arms back behind you, lace the fingertips together, lift the heart. Option to keep the thumbs resting at the low back, or option to fold forward and reach forward. Inhale, let's sweep through chair pose, sitting back like you're sitting in a chair, reaching the arms forward. Now bringing the hands to the waist, let's take a giant step back with your right foot. Inhale, sweep the arms high to the sky. Lunge, pause here. Breathe, and now open to warrior two. You may fall over, that's okay. Heel toe that right foot back, outer edge of the right foot parallel to the back edge of the mat, float the arms out into T. Taking the right hand down the back of the right leg, left arm up to the sky, and now left forearm to the top of the left thigh, right arm up and over the ear. Now very slowly taking the right arm down to the mat, spin up onto the right toes, come into a lunge, and then open, left arm up to the sky. Exhale and release. Now bringing both hands to the inside of that left foot. Let's walk our feet around so that our toes are pointing toward the long edge of the mat and you're widening your heels apart. So your toes shouldn't be turned out this way. They should be turned forward this way. So go ahead and look at your feet and make sure that the outer edges of your feet are parallel with the short edges of your mat. Now, if you're using blocks, you can bring the blocks out in front of you and come down onto your forearms. If you're not using blocks, you can plant your hands on the mat and just enjoy the practice right here. Now, widening the heels apart, softening the chest down toward the mat, taking a few moments here. So this is a wide-legged forward fold, expanding the back body. It is also an inversion and has a lot of benefits for the body. Planting the hands, lifting the head and the heart. Let's go ahead and turn those right toes out to the back of our mat. Circle our arms up into T, coming back to our warrior two stance. Now taking that left hand down the back of the left thigh, right arm up to the sky, bend into that right knee, and then releasing that right forearm to the thigh, left arm up and over the ear, extending outward, then bringing, I'm going to grab my block, left hand down to the mat, spin up onto those left toes, inhale, right arm up to the sky, opening up to that twist. Take a moment to breathe here. Keeping our legs planted and grounded, you can either lift your body up and come into an upright lunge, or keep your hands on blocks for a low lunge. So I'm going to invite you to lunge here, whichever it is that you choose to do. So low lunge, high lunge. Take a moment to breathe, open up. Beautiful. Now bringing both hands either down to your blocks if they're not there already, and stepping your left foot forward to meet your right. Inhale, sit back into chair and pause here for a minute. Inhale, back, arms forward, all the way up to the sky. Right hand grabs a hold of left wrist, crescent over to the right, back through center, crescent over to the left. Inhale, reach the arms high to the sky, lace the fingertips behind the low back, open the heart and look up. And now exhale, bend generously at the knees, resting the thumbs on the sacrum, fold forward. Release the hands down to your blocks or to the mat, and gently step back with your right foot, lower the right knee to the earth. Inhale, reach the arms high to the sky, pivot the right toes out behind you, and come into a warrior two stance. Right arm comes back behind the right leg, left arm reaches up and back, and now left forearm comes to the top of the left thigh, right arm reaches up and over. Slowly taking that right arm to your mat, taking the right toes behind you, left arm comes up to the sky. Beautiful. Both hands come down to your blocks, send the left leg back behind you, right arm out in front of you. Take the bind if you want it, so you can take the right hand, grab a hold of the left leg, or if you want, you can kickstand out the right leg and stack left hip over right. Grab a hold if it works for you. I'm going to take my hand down to the floor just because it's a little bit more stable for me. Drawing the knee into the chest and opening up toward the left. So this is almost a half moon pose or a sugar cane pose on our knee. Now without slingshotting that back leg, let's release it back behind us and reach the arm up and over. And now exhale, bringing both hands back to the mat. Let's come into our cat-cow. So we're mixing it up here. Hands out nice and wide. And remember, be adaptable. Go with the flow. Change it up. Stop. Add or subtract whatever you need. 2 more breaths here. Beautifully done, everybody. 1 more. Good. Now walk both hands over to the left side. Let's swing our right leg up to the top of the mat. Inhale, reach the arms high to the sky. And now let's kickstand out the left leg, bring our arms out into T. Now bringing your left hand down the back of the left side of your leg, right arm up to the sky, peaceful warrior. And now extend left forearm to the thigh, right arm up and over the ear very slowly. Bringing that left hand down to the floor, kickstand outing that left leg, right arm up to the sky. Taking a moment to release both hands down to the mat, inside of that right leg. Send the right leg back behind you, left arm out in front of you. Pause. Breathe. Beautiful. You have the option to take the bind here if you like, or kickstand out that left leg and stack right hip over left. Play. You can bring the knee into the chest and bring the heel back toward the buttocks if you want a little bit more zhuzh, a little bit more sensation, a little bit more movement. And then go ahead and release the bind. Straighten out through that right leg, reach the arm up and over, stretch. And now plant both hands on the mat. Lower the right knee to the floor. Shift the shoulders forward. Inhale, press the tops of the feet down, curl the shoulders back. Exhale, either come back to tabletop position, cat-cow, or push back to downward facing dog. You can either pedal your feet out here or take your cat-cow position. Do what works best for you. Staying in cat-cow 1 or cat-cow 2, rocking back and forth, or moving through vinyasa. Forward to plank, knees, chest, chin, lower down. Inhale, roll through cobra. Exhale, come back to tabletop position. And then take your knees out as wide as your mat. Bring your big toes together. Sit your bottom back towards your heels. Stack your forearms one on top of each other. And release your forehead down toward your folded arms. Finding a moment to breathe. Finding a place to breathe. Taking your time with your breath here. Inhaling deeply, exhaling completely. In through the nose, out through the nose. Nice and slow and deep. Beautiful. Take a few more moments to breathe. Now, if you find that this pose doesn't feel good, come back to cat-cow. That's my default, because cat-cow to me is something that can always feel good. So you can either take cat-cow on hands and knees, or as we did at the beginning of class, you can take cat-cow sitting. So I want you just to choose where this feels the most authentic for you. Beautiful. Take a few moments. So you're either resting in child's pose, which is big toes together, knees wide apart, forearms stacked with your forehead on your forearms, or you're on hands and knees doing cat-cow, or you're doing what I'm doing, seated cat-cow. 2 more breaths. Good. And now let's go ahead wherever you are and make your way back to seated. So come to a seated position and let's take our left heel to the left corner of our mat, right heel to the right corner of our mat. Make sure our toes are pointing up to the sky. Go ahead and move the flesh of the sit bones back and away. Leading with the collarbones, go ahead and fold forward. Pressing out through the mound of the big toe, lengthening your chest forward, finding your breath. Inhaling deeply, exhaling completely. Allow yourself to breathe. Good. Inhale, let's walk our hands back toward our feet. And now we're going to swing our back toward our bodies, and let's swing our legs together and make our way, pressing out through our heels, arms out in front, tucking the chin to the chest. Let's roll slowly onto our backs. Now you can also bend your knees and come down onto your side. Find the easiest way to come to your back, okay? I'm gonna have my blocks at the ready. Knees are bent. Go ahead and draw the right knee into the chest, bring the forehead up to the knee, and then inhale, extend the leg out, arms up overhead. Exhale, hug in, knee into the chest. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hug in. Inhale, reach up one more time. Exhale, hug in and hold. Beautiful. Crossing that right ankle over the left knee, releasing the head toward the floor, bringing your right hand to your right knee and just gently pressing the thigh away. This is your first option. Stay here if it feels good. If you're looking for a little bit more sensation, you can always try bringing that left knee into the chest and opening this way. That might be a little bit more sensation for you, but it's up to you. If you want even more sensation, you can rock up to seated, crossing your calves or your shins on top of each other, placing your hands at the bottom of the feet and lengthening forward. So really find where this works for you. Breathe. Inhale, exhale. Good, one more breath, wherever you are. And then we're gonna change sides. So if you're on your back, let's go ahead and bring both feet back to the floor. And now draw your left knee into your chest, bring your forehead up to your knee, give yourself a little stretch here. And then inhale, extend the left leg long, arms long. Exhale, sweep it. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, sweep in. Inhale, reach up. One more time. Exhale, sweep in, knee into the chest. And now cross that left ankle over the right knee. Bring that left hand to the top of your thigh and gently press the thigh away. First option, stay here and enjoy that sensation. If you need a little bit more sensation or you're curious about more sensation, bring the right knee into the chest and just lace the hand underneath that right thigh, breathing deeply and slowly. If you want even more sensation, so if you want mild, medium, or perhaps very, very spicy, you can stack your shin bones on top of each other and bring your hands to the bottom of your feet, coming into our fire log pose, pushing down and through our feet, down and through our sit bones, and taking a moment to breathe. Beautiful. Find where this works for you. So remember, you're one of 3 ways. You can either be on your back with your left hand on your thigh, you can be here with your knee into your chest, or you can be in that seated position. So choose what works for you. Breathe. Choose what works for you. Breathe. And now planting that right foot on the floor, and then the left foot on the floor. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, both knees into the chest and bring the knees wide. Let's do a little rocking side to side. Nice and slow. Breathing slowly and mindfully. You can also, if it feels good, come into a happy baby pose. Bringing the soles of the feet up toward the sky, pulling the toes back towards the body, relaxing the head back toward the floor. You can try that if that feels good. This sometimes may feel good in the low back. If neither of these things feel good, try bringing your feet flat to the floor, gently tucking your shoulder blades underneath you. I grab the outer edges of my mat to give myself a little bit more leverage. And if you like, you can try lifting and lowering your hips or staying with your hips lifted and sliding a block underneath. So kind of choose what works for you, right? You can have your knees into your chest, rocking side to side, right? You have that option. You can have the happy baby option, which is when you brought your knees into your chest and held the outer edges of your feet. Or you can come into a bridge option by sliding a bridge pose underneath the hips and pressing into the feet. Take a few minutes just to figure out what this feels like, looks like, or what feels good in your body. So just adjust and find where this works for you. If you're doing a supported bridge pose, try bringing your arms up overhead and see how that changes sensation. Okay, it's not, again, it's you do what you can do. It's not all or nothing. It's all or something. Breathe. Good. Now releasing your hands down by your sides. If you're in bridge pose, you can press up, lift your hips, and bring your hips down. Remove the block, bring your hips back down to the floor. Now, if you're in happy baby, come back to knees bent on the floor. If you are doing anything else, come back to knees bent. Go ahead and take your feet out as wide as your mat, and then float your arms out into T. From here, go ahead and let both knees fall over to the right side. And just let them fall wherever they fall. They don't have to make it to the floor, right? They just, wherever you feel sensation, and bringing your arms up overhead, maybe even lacing your fingertips together overhead, and letting both knees fall to the side. Good. And then inhale, coming back through center, and then exhale, second side. Good. Now bring it back through center. Let's bring the soles of the feet together, the knees wide. Now if you feel like this is way too much stretch, then bring your feet to the widest parts of the mat and let your knees fall in. So really decide, how much of this, how much do I want to feel? How much am I connected to this? What can I change or adjust to make it feel better in my body? So that's always the conversation you want to have with yourself. How can I change or adjust to make this more accessible, more adaptable, making it feel better in my body? So go ahead and adjust accordingly. We're going to be here just for another minute or so. So find your breath. Let the hips fall where they may. And again, if this is too much stretch, go ahead and allow yourself to bring the knees together. It is not all or nothing. It is all or something. So staying here, whichever feels best for you. Let's take another 3 or 4 breaths just as we settle in. And then slowly and mindfully taking your hands to your outer knees, draw the knees together, And then walk the feet closer into the bottom. Let's go ahead and grab a hold of the outer edges of the mat. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath you. Inhale, lift the hips to the sky. And exhale, slowly lower down. And keep lifting and lowering, noticing sensation. Really pressing into the feet, really using the quads to lift and to lower. Breathing, lift. Exhaling and lowering. 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. 1 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And now lowering the hips down to the mat, extending the legs out long, reaching the arms up overhead. And then on the exhale, let's go ahead and bring that right knee into the chest. Now, if your back doesn't like how this feels, bend the left knee, okay? And release. And now extend the left leg out, or both legs out if it feels good. And then take that left knee into the chest again. If the back doesn't like this, plant that left foot or the right foot on the floor. Good. Now let's extend that left toe up to the sky, holding on in the back of the left thigh, pressing out through the heel. Option to stay here and enjoy the stretch. Option to slide the legs higher up the hands higher up the leg and draw in. Option to even do a reclining hand to big toe pose. So I'm grabbing my big toe with my hand. If you've got a strap, I don't know where my strap is, but if you have a strap, you can always loop it around the toes. And then let your leg fall out as far to the left as feels comfortable. I let my right knee fall out just to level my pelvis, and just because it feels good here, it gives me a little bit of hip opening on the right side. Decide if this works for you. If not, staying center is still good. Holding wherever it's available to you is always the way to go, okay? So we're not pushing or straining or forcing. Beautiful. And release. So let's take the second side. We're gonna reach those right toes up to the sky, push out through the heel, hold the back of the thigh, draw in as you push the heel up toward the sky. You can also slide the leg up a little bit higher, bring the forehead closer to the knee, whatever works for you. But just take a few moments. Breathe. Play. And then if it's available, if you want to stay wherever you are, here, or trying that extended hand to big toe pose. Knees bent, left knee is bent, just to give you a little bit more traction. And then of course you can try taking your leg out to the right if it makes sense. And it's always if it makes sense, right? If it doesn't feel good, then do not do it. Choose something else. Inhale back through center. Exhale, release your feet flat to the floor. Roll all the way over onto your right side, and then make your way onto your belly. Stacking your forearms on top of each other, bring your forehead toward the floor. Now you want to bring your forehead to rest on your hands, or you can bring your elbows towards your rib cage and lift your heart as you lengthen your chest forward. Breathe deeply and slowly, finding your way to this is called Sphinx pose. So we're strengthening the back here a little bit by adding a little bit of sensation to the back. You're letting the tops of the feet press down and the hips get heavy. And now let's release down. Now I'm not going to release my head down because you might not be able to hear me, but if you want to stack your forearms and bring your forehead towards your forearms and lift the legs, squeezing the glutes. Working on strengthening the back. Exhale, lower down, and then plant the hands, elbows walking toward rib cage. Lift the chest forward and gently pull the chest forward toward the top of the mat. And breathe. And then exhale, you can stack your forearms, release your forehead to the mat, and then lift the legs, squeeze the glutes. Again, lower down, bring the forearms to the floor, lift, and just notice. And now, let's come all the way down, bringing our right ear to the mat, elongating our arms alongside our body. You can even turn your palms down. Breathe. Breathe. Good. And now bringing the hands alongside the body, taking the gaze forward toward the top of the mat. See if you can lift the legs and lift the chest. Remember, you can do one or the other. You can lift the legs only, or you can lift the chest only. Or if it feels good, you can lift both and hold for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and release down. Breathing deeply and slowly. Inhaling, lifting up for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Releasing down. Let's do 2 more. Inhale and lift. Exhale and lower. 1 more. Inhale and lift. Woo. Breathe. Now planting the hands, lowering the head down. Let's push back into tabletop position. From here, you can either take your cat-cow, or you can take your knees really wide apart, big toes together, stacking the forearms. We've been here before. Now, if this doesn't feel good in your body, then we're going to change the orientation of this pose, bringing it to seated with the soles of the feet together and the knees wide. So it really just depends on what feels best in your body. So you can take your cat-cow if you want. You can take your happy baby, which is child's pose, big toes together, knees wide, relaxing your head to the floor. Or you can join me in seated if it makes more sense, bringing the soles of the feet together, knees wide, and lengthening forward. So it really is what feels best in your body. It really is about going with the flow. So take a few more moments. It's almost time for Shavasana. Taking that long, luxurious nap at the end of class, which is lovely. So take a few moments just to be in whatever pose feels the best in this moment. Good. One more breath. Beautiful. Inhale. If you're seated, lift the head and the heart. Exhale, if you are in child's pose or any other pose, make your way up to seated. And then what we're going to do is lengthen our legs out in front of us. And you can either roll over onto your right side and ease yourself down onto the mat, or roll back if it feels good to do so. And now let's take our toes up to the sky, plant our feet flat on the ceiling or up into the sky, and reach our arms up. So this is just a little gentle, mindful, thoughtful inversion. And if it feels good and you want to try to rock a little bit side to side, give your low back a little bit of a massage, that's fine. If you want to stay static, that works too. But I really just want you to connect with what makes sense in your body. So super soon before Shavasana. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to do whatever pose you want to do before you come to your final pose. So I'm going to take my feet down to the floor, taking my feet out as wide as my mat, letting my knees fall in on each other, and then letting the thumbs rest between, the base of the thumbs rest between my eyebrows. So that's how I'm going to take my last pose before I find Shavasana. So if there's a pose that you want to do that we didn't get to, I'm going to give you a full minute to play with the pose. So I'm going to stay here a full minute, and what I'm going to do is I'm once again going to windshield my legs side to side because it makes the most sense and it feels so good in my body. I need you to do what's going to feel good in your body, okay? So you have about another 30 seconds or so to play with whatever it is that you want to play with. Maybe take a reclining twist if that feels good, or any other pose that makes sense to you. It's your choice, right? It's yogi's choice. All right, let's give it another 10 seconds or so. And then let's recline to our final rest pose. So if you'd like to take a Shavasana on your side, what I suggest you do is come over onto your most comfortable side. I like to come over onto my left side, and then I like to bring a blanket between my knees, rest on my left arm and take Shavasana this way. You can lay on your back with your arms extended out. So that's a more traditional variation of Shavasana. I don't find it particularly comfortable or restful in my body just because I have a lot of luxury luggage, which is my bottom luxury luggage, and it creates a big curve in my spine. So I find it doesn't feel good. So that's why I prefer to lay on my side. You can also bring the soles of your feet together if that helps relieve any pressure in your body. Or you can make your way to a seated pose and take your last few minutes as meditation. So I'm going to let you choose. And then once you find that space, if you're coming down to Shavasana, go ahead and soften into the mat. Relax your face and your jaw and just let the flow go. Or go with the flow of your breath. If you're coming to seated, find a comfortable seat and just breathe. If you're doing any other pose for your final Savasana or your final rest pose, take what you need here and let's experience a little bit of silence and breath. And now, so it's going to become really quiet for the next few minutes. Just relax into that quiet space, and I'll come back to bring you out of Savasana. So just relax, let everything soften, let everything go. If you'd like to remain in your resting position, please stay in that final rest for as long as it feels comfortable and soothing and restful. If you're ready to make your way to seated, you can roll over onto your favorite side. Pause there for a moment and bring yourself back up to seated. Just folding your hands in front of your heart as a gesture of gratitude to yourself for making your way to your practice today. And for me, a gesture of gratitude to you for allowing me to share this practice with you. And as I leave you today, I hope you're enjoying the festival. I hope you are enjoying your practice. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you just be. Thank you, everyone.